And this symbol relating to the sun is where we get so many stories that have manifested as what I call prison religions. I think religion is one of the greatest forms. No. I think religion is the greatest form of mind control ever invented. And when you do the research into it, you find some strange areas of where it's come from and how it's manifested in the modern world. In ancient times, they used to use, this is long before Christianity, they used to use this symbol, which is not negative in itself, it's just a symbol of the sun's journey through the year, or the Earth's relationship to the sun during the year, of course. They used to draw the circle. They used to put the signs of the zodiac around the outside. Zodiac comes from a Greek word meaning animal circle, appropriately. And then they used to break this circle up with a cross, creating the Four Seasons, who were a very good pop group in the 60s, as I recall. They had that Frankie Valli, who used to sing as if someone was squeezing something very hard. Do you remember him? Cherry. Anyone below my age is going, what's the prat talking about? Who's Frankie bloody Valli? But show my age. And then they used to put the sun on the cross in the center of the circle. I've heard that somewhere before. Now, at this point, the seasons break up with the winter solstice, December 21st, 22nd. At that point in the ancient world, long before Christianity, they used to say that symbolically the sun had died because it was at the lowest point of its power in its cycle, in the northern hemisphere anyway. 3 days later, on December the 25th, they said that the sun was born or born again because it had started its cycle back to the peak of its power in the summer. And so, deity after deity after deity, pre-Christianity, was given the birth date of December the 25th. If you want a son of God who died so our sins could be forgiven, born on December the 25th to a virgin mother, or even a virgin mother, then take your pick, because there's endless numbers of them. And when the sun reached this point, which we call Easter, it was a fixed point in the ancient world. The sun was symbolically entering the sign of the ram or the lamb. And at that point, they used to sacrifice lambs to the gods because they thought they would look kindly on them in their crops and stuff in the spring, what have you. And so you have the symbolism, thousands of years before Christianity, of the lamb who died so our sins could be forgiven. And what you've got is you've got religious texts, not least those in the Bible, Old and New, which are written in two ways with the same words. If you understand the knowledge, because you're initiated into it, you see the numerology, the codes, the symbolism in the text, and you read it in a certain way. If you are not in that knowledge, i.e. the masses over hundreds and hundreds of years, then you take the same texts literally, or you dismiss them, but for a long time they've been taken literally. And so you have, in the same text, an ability to pass on advanced knowledge to initiates who understand the coding, and texts which you can turn into a prison religion by taking them literally. And I'll give you an example. Something I said? I'll give you an example. One of the ways that it symbolized the sun in the ancient world was as the cycle of a man's life through the year. On December the 25th, they symbolized the sun as a baby. He grew up, and at the peak of his power, the sun's power, at the summer solstice, they symbolized this man, symbolizing the sun, as a massively strong man at the peak of, course, the sun's power in the year, with long golden hair being symbolic of the big rays of the sun at that time of the year. Hence, of course, the lion, the mane of the lion, the long golden hair, the rays of the sun. When the sun came down in this cycle, symbolizes this man, down towards the fall into the house of Virgo the Virgin, the house of Delilah, they symbolized this man's sun as having his hair cut short because the rays of the sun he symbolized were getting less and less powerful. And by the time they got round here, they symbolized the sun as like old Father Time as we do today. Of course, what have I just said? I have just described the story of Samson, Samsun. And again, we're taking literally across the great spectrum of life and belief, stories and texts that are symbolic. Now, this is not a negative symbol in itself, I say again, but because of it, what it symbolizes, it became part of the secret language of the Illuminati. And you'll see as the afternoon unfolds how their secret language is all around us, and when you start to see the symbolism, you start to read what you couldn't see before. So this became an Illuminati symbol. This is what the Celtic cross is, the cross and the circle. I took this in a graveyard in Ireland. There again, you've got even almost a symbol sun on there. That's what this is. NATO, as we get towards the latter part of the day, we can see is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Illuminati, which is being manipulated to become the world army, the world police force. They want a world army. They're moving there vastly quickly. And, of course, the horrors and suffering in places like Kosovo, Iraq, and Bosnia have massively advanced NATO's ability to be cast in the role of the world army. Again, the cross and the circle. And that's what this is. This is the CIA symbol. Again, the cross and the rays of the sun. These are classic Illuminati symbols which turn up in the positions of power. I took this image in the city of London, just across from St. Paul's Cathedral, in the heart center of the Illuminati manipulation of the planet. And there you see the same thing. You've got the sun, a black sun appropriately. That image on the face is supposed to be Winston Churchill. Again, very appropriate when you do the research. But again, round there you've got the zodiac circle, and this is on a financial building in the city of London. Now, even in the street plans of the major Illuminati cities, you see this same symbolism, which they understand and other people don't. This is the center of the street plan of an amazing city called Paris. It's the Arc de Triomphe. There's the circle. There are 12 streets going off, creating 12 segments. Again, you've got that same image of the circle, that symbolizing the sun, the arch, and the elements that you saw in that original symbol. Now, in Paris, they've even gone so far as putting the sun on the bloody street around it, look. When you start to realize how it's done and what they're doing, you start to see that life in a very different way. This is a way that they put the cross and the circle, this symbol again, into Christian churches. Now, among the people who've been initiated into this knowledge over the centuries have been some of the most famous artists and writers. Mentioned that this morning. This is the famous picture by Leonardo da Vinci. Now, according to Holy Blood, Holy Grail, a very well circulated book in recent years, the elite secret society based in France, which is very much part of this bloodline orchestration and network, called the Priory of Sion, Sion, S-I-O-N. And when you look at the ancient Sanskrit word for the sun, which that white race took into the Indus Valley, which manifested as that culture, you find that Siona, S-I-O-N-A, just one letter difference, was the ancient Sanskrit word for the sun. For me, Priory of Sion is Priory of the sun, and it's massively connected, this secret society, to the Merovingian bloodline. And Leonardo da Vinci was a Grand Master, according to Holy Blood, Holy Grail, of the Priory of Sion. He was in the knowledge. And what he's done here, if you look at it, he has symbolized that very same recurring Illuminati symbol of the circle, the cross, and the sun on it in this picture. He's depicted Jesus as the sun. When you look into the ancient world, you find that the way they symbolized their sun gods was to put a halo around them, indicating they weren't literal people, they were symbolizing the sun. I'll give you an example of that in a second. And he's broken up